putting your save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico with you. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How was the weekend?
It was fantastic. I saw some softball.
Yes.
Some great weather. Got to Omaha and saw a friend and her little boy, and just hung out with the family. I smoked some ribs. They were delicious.
Oh, were they good this weekend?
They were delicious.
Cool.
I didn't take any pictures because I ate them.
All right. Well, sounds good. We will talk a little Husker softball and baseball. They combined to go 6-0 on the weekend, so really good weekend.
Yeah.
It's kind of been overshadowed so far today with spring practice, and we'll start out with spring practice. So if you're just now joining us or just turned in the dial for the day, Huskers head coach Scott Frost spoke a little bit, said some things about the upcoming spring game. We'll kind of give our thoughts after we play a couple clips as well, and just where we kind of stand on where this program's at and how we feel headed into the spring game on Saturday and heading into the end of spring football season and into the bulk of the summer and then into the fall and things like that. So always welcome to chime into the show, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire time. You can always tweet at us, Nick_Sainer and at Radio Rico AC, or head over to the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and see our faces and kind of what's going on in the studio there as well. All right. So let's just dive right into it here. Scott Frost said some things today about inconsistency. He kind of gave an update on quarterbacks. Let's go ahead and start with that one, Rico. Quarterbacks, right? Because everybody's sitting here saying there's no way there's a competition, but still here on April 4th, 5 days before the spring game begins, doesn't sound like there's much separation between the guys in that room coming out of the coaching staff's mouth. So here's kind of Scott Frost on an update on the quarterback battle.
Yeah, the timetable is whenever it's clear to us and to everybody. And I think there's a lot of guys doing some good things, but we're nowhere near ready to make an announcement yet.
I don't think I'm speaking out of the side of my mouth when I say Casey Thompson is the proverbial favorite in everyone's eye. Well, everyone outside of the coaching staff. Let me, preface with that. In everyone outside of the coaching staff's eyes.
The kind of angle that I want to start with right out of the gate here, and once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Love to take your calls and text all hour long. The kind of angle conversation I want to have is, how does this year, from what the staff is telling us or saying, how does it differ from previous years? And take away the new assistant staff.
Outside of the people saying it.
Yes, because that's an obvious one that we hear from Mark Whipple and we hear from Mickey Joseph. We're going to hear from Mickey Joseph on Wednesday as well, so that will be interesting to see what he has to say a couple days ahead of his first spring game as Nebraska's associate head coach and wide receivers coach as well. So we'll hear from Coach Mickey Joseph on Wednesday, but mainly talking about Scott Frost and kind of the stuff that we hear every single season out of Scott Frost, whether it's spring game, whether it's beginning of spring ball, or even week 4 ahead against Buffalo or Northwestern. What differentiates 2022 from 2021 or even 2019? And when I was kind of listening to the press conference and then came back and cut it up and saved it into the file and everything, I'm sitting here thinking I could pull a clip from 2020 and it would be eerily similar to what is being said in 2022.
Yeah, just a generic clip talking about things for in perspective to the football team, not a certain person, not a certain position group, just an overall feel of a football team. If you were to pull a clip from 2021, 2020, 2019, it would sound pretty close to what Scott Frost is saying today.
Now, and like you're sitting here, or I'm sitting here at least saying, well, okay, they have a losing record. They're not really being successful as a program on the field right now. We'll see what they do off the field, but they're not really successful in terms of winning games on the football field. So how much can you really say that's going to change the opinion or the mind of a Husker fan? And I get that to an extent, that we really felt towards the end of last season, since it was the same story over and over again, that Scott Frost just kind of ran out of things to say. Like we understood that. However, if you listen to today's press conference, and I don't remember all the clips that had it, but if you listen to the press conference today, it's archived on Twitter, and you'll hear a good bulk of it today on the various shows. But if you go back and listen, it's a lot of the same stuff that we've heard before. It's that there's inconsistencies. It's that guys don't know the playbook. And once again, part of that's chalked up to the new staff and schemes that they're doing.
So-and-so had a really good practice, but there's some inconsistencies.
Yes. Like today, he says
this group struggled today, but they did some really good things. And I understand you could chalk that up as something that some people at this station don't like hearing. You could chalk that up as coach talk, coach speak.
Yeah.
As he's not trying to give any more information than is necessary to give.
Once again,
so that's what he's saying. But at the same time, there are ways to not give information without recycling the same old, used, tired phrases over and over again.
Well, let's just call a spade a spade. It's not doing Nebraska or Scott Frost any favors saying the same stuff year after year. It's not. Because once again, it's like the whole idea of fool me once, shame on that.
Shame on you.
Yes.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me
like
3
that.
times, you can't get fooled again.
So you're sitting here as a Nebraska fan and saying, well, shoot, I heard the same thing last year, and I heard the same thing during the regular season last year. And now that I'm thinking about it, I heard it again the previous season. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I truly am not. But at some point, the word coming out of a coach's mouth doesn't carry a lot of weight when it hasn't been backed up. When the product on the field hasn't been when the product on the field hasn't been remotely close to what we've heard or what we've been told, then it's extremely difficult to believe what's being said. And that's just that's understandable. Once again, 402-464-5685. We've had a couple people said, did Scott Frost say best practice yet?
Not yet.
Not quite. Ray said this. So you're saying he's basically saying, quote, it's none of your business. I'm only talking to you because they make me. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I don't know. I just think it's extremely frustrating when we go to the press conferences or we hear a coach talk, and it's the same exact thing that we heard. Once again, just a recycled message, and you don't know, you don't feel like you can take it.
Well, even I know, we're talking about, not saying just because it's, different voices, but even before, when you had those coaches that were here for a couple of years with Frost, whenever they would get, their podium time, or you would get side sessions with them, they wouldn't, maybe they feel the same way as Scott Frost. They don't want to talk to the media. They don't want to, do all this. They don't want to go on the tours, but at least they would give you something. Maybe they wouldn't tell you exactly who's doing what and who's starting, because guess what? For when it comes to, offensive line, running back, wide receiver, all that stuff, like whatever. I care and I want to know, but if you don't give it to me, if you just tell me so-and-so had a really good practice, they're doing this well, we're working on this, they came in and they were better at running this route, we've been working on this one, and their hands are getting a lot better. Their footwork coming off the line is improving to a point where when they get jammed, they won't get stopped for an extended period of time, and it allows us to get into our offense quicker. That's all well and good. But right now, at least from what we've heard a little bit from Scott Frost, it's the same message, which sometimes can be a good thing. The same message can be a good thing. But right now, with the inconsistencies on the field, with the inconsistencies in winning and the consistency with losing games in weird ways, Scott Frost preaching the same message over and over and over again is not working. He needs to try something different. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, he doesn't need to tell you guys this. He doesn't need to tell the media all of this. And we aren't privy to that type of information. I get that. You can keep your secrets, a la Nick Saban, a la Bill Belichick, but guess what? Those guys still give you something to work with. They still give you something to write, something to talk about, some people to look into and have confidence in. But with right now, I'm not saying it's always going to be this way, but right now with this presser today, it's just, so-and-so did this. There's some inconsistencies. And he's kind of pushing back on what Mark Whipple said last week or a couple weeks ago, where he said, turnovers and interceptions are the main issue that they're experiencing with quarterbacks. They asked Scott Frost today about it. He said, turnovers and interceptions aren't the problem, just some inconsistencies. What do you mean inconsistencies?
Go ahead and so I can't remember which quote that was with Scott Frost. A general thought on I should probably have had you send me a picture of the things. But 402-464-5685. Dan Lincoln says this on the text line: the program as a whole has not matched the words Frost spews in these pressers since he got here. He also asked earlier, hey, Nick, how was the mood of the presser? Were they pumping sunshine or were they missing teeth from chewing nails? I will say this, the mood of the pressers, uncomfortable, personally, especially the last, not few, but especially the ones where it's either game week or especially last season. I think uncomfortable or just little tight would be a good word.
A little tense.
Tense. Maybe that's a better word to describe it. Just because,
as Jay Foreman says, were the sphincter muscles tightened?
Yeah, just a little bit. Because I wouldn't necessarily say people are walking on eggshells, but in reality,
being careful where they step.
In reality, the program is pretty fragile, extremely fragile. When you're talking about the native son, the coach that everybody wanted to be here is not having success, and even a remote bit of success. Like it is extremely fragile, and nobody wants to. And understandably so, including myself, nobody wants to just put the nail in the coffin.
They're not dead yet.
We don't want to do it. No,
they're not dead yet.
They're not. Fred, not Hoiberg, says this: sometimes the message is for and directed at the players as an extension of what they're hearing from day to day at practice. And I will continue to drink the spring Kool-Aid. That's what spring practice is for.
If that's what he's going for, and he's trying to direct a message to the players, and they are hearing the same things in practice every single day,
which, yowzers,
could be good, could be bad.
All right, Rico, just go ahead and pick one clip, one random.
Just pick
clip.
a clip.
Pick a clip.
This might be the one you were talking about. The why aren't they ready to name a QB? I think that might be the one with the interceptions and inconsistencies.
Yeah, there haven't been that many turnovers. I think it's just more consistency and getting familiar with kind of what we're doing schematically and some things like that, but there needs to be a little more consistency.
I get that. You're breaking in a new system with with none of these quarterbacks have run this system.
Yeah.
Casey Thompson's coming from Texas. Chuba Purdy's coming from Florida State. Logan Smothers had whatever system Nebraska was running last year in his mind. Heinrich Harburg, same way. Richard Torres is coming out of high school. Like, none of these guys have run this Mark Whipple system before. So I get it. I get that they're trying to install some things and they're trying to get used to it. But when you not directly, but kind of directly counter what your offensive coordinator said a week earlier, I don't know what to
Here's-
make of it. I don't know. Are turnovers an issue, or is it just trying to get used to the offense?
So here, I'll say this. With how we opened the show saying, what is different from between this year and 2020, right? We're not going to be able to talk about how the play on the field is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm kind of alluding to is, tell me and explain to me how all the coaches are on the same page. Explain to me, outside of just saying lack of consistency, details right now. Because Nebraska has not had the success needed to be able to hide behind just saying there's general inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be something. And at the end of the day, with everybody questioning whether or not Scott Frost is going to be able to lead this team further after this season, show me that you can explain what is going on with the quarterbacks, and then I believe it. Like, show me that you I don't want to just categorize it as show me that you know football, because I think it's much deeper than that.
I'd like to say he knows football.
Yes, I would assume so as well.
And that's
not
a higher level than us.
Exactly. And I'm not questioning that. But now you don't have to necessarily give me scheme and give me a certain example of when what this lack of consistency was. But instead of hiding behind the generalization of, they're just inconsistent, when your offensive coordinator has specifically said that turnovers have been a problem, and then you come out and say that turnovers haven't been, and that it's just general inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me that you're watching the same practice as your offensive coordinator. Please tell me somehow, some way, whether you mean to or you don't mean to, that you and your coaching staff is on the same page. I'm not trying. I really don't like saying that. I really do not. But at the end of the day, it's year 5. This is the make or break year. Show me, and honestly, at the end of the day, give yourself a little credit and prove yourself that you know what you're doing. Prove to Husker fans that you are capable of doing this job.
Dude, throw some stuff out there that Husker fans won't even understand. Throw some stuff that football fans won't even understand. What is inconsistent about the quarterbacks? Is it the footwork?
Yes.
Is it the placement of the ball? Is it the reads that they're making? Is it the reads they're making in the pass game? Is it the reads they're making in the RPO game? If that's what you're going with, like, what is inconsistent with the court? Is it just their lack of knowledge in the playbook right now? Like, what is the inconsistency? Because saying there's just some general inconsistencies, I'm just going to assume that everything is off.
Well, and once again, I'm not asking as a Nebraska fan and as a media member, I'm not asking for extremely specific details. I really am not. I'm not asking to walk reporters through a scheme and explain, why the quarterback was wrong. But say this, some along the lines that, for example, if they're messing up with timing, say they aren't on time with their receivers. They're struggling to get time with their receivers. Like Rico said, say that they're struggling with footwork. But putting them and generalizing them into a category that just says they're inconsistent.
And is it all of them? Is it some of them?
Exactly. And it's like the thing.
But that would come back to not wanting
this.
to name a starting quarterback, is that he doesn't want to talk about a certain player in too much of a glowing light, because then people will assume that that's the starter. He doesn't want to talk down on anybody because you don't want to crush anybody's confidence, which I get. You don't want to talk anybody down like that. But at the same time, if you just, and again, we don't need all the information, but we need something to give to this rabid fan base. Like the reporters aren't asking too hard of questions, and when they do, they're bombarded with, why are you asking such hard questions? And then when they ask easier questions, why are you asking such easy questions? We're trying to give this fan base something that they can look at and talk about within their friend groups and everything. But right now we're getting general inconsistencies in the quarterback room.
Unnamed texter says this on the Honda Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. As far as the pressers go, it feels like a combination of Frost coach speak, not wanting to give anything away, and him being arrogant and tired of talking to the press. Empty Dumpster says this: shouldn't the media be asking those questions? Follow up on his statements and ask him about it.
That's the thing, is they do follow up on the questions.
Yeah.
And you know what happens? He gives the same last week.
Yes.
And you know what happened? Not everybody, a gigantic minority on Twitter and on Facebook and on this very text line, good on Scott Frost. He doesn't have to answer that question. Good on him. He doesn't have to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking the follow-up questions. He's giving us nothing.
Yeah. And so it is what it is. At the end of the day, it really, like I said when we opened up this segment, explain. Don't just tell me. Like, we're at the point now, explain to me how this year is different than previous years. Because so far, through press conferences, it's been, yeah, this coach has really gotten them going. How? Prove to me that you are at practice and you are watching this team. Because sometimes the things that they say, or that coaches say, once again, going back to that coach speak, you could just say it and not be at practice. Now, I'm not inferring that Scott Frost is not at practice. I am not. Let me be very clear. That's not even a question in my mind. But at the end of the day, nobody should be questioning, especially at a program like Nebraska, nobody should be questioning whether or not you and your offensive coordinator are watching the same practice. But yet here we are 5 days before the spring game, and you can be in part of that crowd that says the spring game doesn't matter and that spring practice isn't that important. It's really what happens in fall camp, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, what you do in the spring will translate over to the fall. And what you feel like works in practice, you're going to have a feeling that will work in the fall and in games on Saturdays. And once again, if that's been the mentality in the first 4 years, it hasn't necessarily translated well to Saturdays in the fall. So why are we still in that same boat of thinking we can say the same things, we can do the same things, and we can operate in a similar way, and that we're going to have a different showing on Saturdays in the fall? I just want to know how, or don't, like, I want to know information on the inconsistencies at quarterback specifically. Mm-hmm. Tell me what Casey Thompson is doing wrong right now that isn't allowing him to earn that job as a starting quarterback. Same thing with Logan Smothers. What is holding them back? Because how am I supposed to know as a fan that you're able to communicate that message to the players? Prove to us that you're able to communicate a message to the quarterback to say, hey, this is what you need to work on. This is what you need to develop in order to be the best player that you can be here at Nebraska. And then if you want to tie in the lack of development that's happened across the board in the last 4 years, you can do that as well. And I'm mainly talking about the offensive side. Now, once again, we said at the beginning of the segment, we prefaced it, take the offensive new staff out of this equation. We're hearing the same things. And once again, at this time, April 4th, 2:28 p.m., specifically with the quarterbacks, you can tell us you're on the same page, but at the end of the day, we're going to find out either on Saturday or we're going to find out when they play Northwestern in August.
You're at a week 0. This spring is very important. If you play week 0, the spring is supremely important because your fall camp starts earlier, but it's kind of shorter. You've got a shorter break going into fall camp, and then you've got to get right. You got to hit the ground running. So what you do in the spring will show that first day, that first week of fall camp leading up to that week 0 matchup in conference with Northwestern.
In a very, very winnable division. Once again, we can go on this rant. You do not have to be 12-0 to win the Big Ten West. You can be flipping 5-3 in the conference and win the Big Ten West. And if you would have asked Nebraska fans, and you could ask Nebraska fans right now, because I think a lot of them, including myself, think this way, 5-3 or 4-4 is pretty mediocre. 5-3, pretty mediocre. Now, is it progress? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But 5-3 is pretty mediocre when talking about a Nebraska football program that has a rich tradition. All right, let's go ahead and get to break. 402-464-5685. I was planning on talking Husker softball, Husker baseball, because they went combined 6-0. Really, really good performance by both of them, especially, well, softball's won 10 in a row. I can't even say especially and single one out, especially softball, because now they were winners of 10 in a row, and especially baseball because they started doing the little things right and they started getting the bat on the ball, like simple things, right?
The long ball was the story of the weekend for both teams.
And here's the thing. If we start talking Husker baseball after the break, there's probably going to be a Big Ten Plus rant in here somewhere. We'll do that. But if you guys have any more thoughts on spring practice or just kind of the state of the football program right now and how you guys are feeling heading into the spring game here in 5 days, let us know. 402-464-5685. We'll be right back on the happy hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In baseball on Thursday, Lincoln Christian beat Fairbury 5-2 in the 9th inning. Tyson Workman had a 2-run triple deep in the 9th to give the Crusaders the lead. Lincoln East went over Kearney 12-2, and Lincoln Southwest just got by Norfolk in a high-scoring game 17-16. Kyle Newell had the walk-off single in the 9th to win. Waverly beat Blair 7-4. James Van Cleve from the mound had 10 strikeouts and only gave up 1 run for Waverly. In girls soccer, Lincoln East shut out Norfolk 8-0. Kayma Carpenter had 4 goals for the Spartans. Omaha Central won over Lincoln High by 2 goals. And in boys soccer, Lincoln East beat Norfolk 5-1. Lincoln Northeast won over Fremont 3-1. Lincoln Pius X got past Omaha Burke 4-2. Morgan Armagoss led the Bolts with a goal and an assist. And Lincoln Southwest won over Columbus 1-0. Leighton Jepson had the only goal of the game for the win. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Why do I like Blue Bloods? Here's why. If you're successful over time, that's the true test. And in my lifetime, North Carolina basketball, Kansas basketball, Duke basketball, in my lifetime, has almost always been good. I mean, all 3 of them. I mean, it's reliable, and they should be good because they put so much energy into it.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Old School with DP and J.
I learned this about the difference between the college game and the NFL. Every play is designed offensively and defensively for one guy to make a mistake, whether it's being out of your gap, forgetting the blitz, forgetting a check on offense, forgetting the snap count. In college, it might be explosive play, 15 yards, whatever you deem as explosive play. The pros,
All of them are house.
all of them are. The guy will hit his head on the goalpost.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your KFXL Fox Nebraska weather for Monday. We're expecting a high right around 62, along with mostly sunny skies. Clouds roll in late tonight with a low right around 39. We'll still see passing clouds throughout Tuesday with a 40% chance for rain showers and a high right around 63. I'm meteorologist Regina Bird for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find. And they're family owned, where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane.
Hey dude, can I have the aux cord?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, do you want to play some games?
What? No, stop. I'm trying to drive.
Dude, Aaron wants to know what you're doing on Friday.
Okay, I'll talk to him later. I'm driving right now.
Did you see this thing on Facebook?
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta put you on Do Not Disturb.
Wait.
It's hard to drive with a bad passenger, so don't let your phone be one. Visit drivesmartany.org for more information. Brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations? Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancene.com.
You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, presented by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back here. 402-464-5685. Cool Hand Luke says this might be the most unhappy happy hour ever. My spring ball optimism just went down the toilet.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. If you were to say Casey Thompson is our starting quarterback, I think I might have been just fine with literally everything else he said.
Yeah,
I think that one really struck me. That really got me.
Which
Is
part?
the we're not ready to name a starting quarterback. This competition is going to go into the fall. I get it. You want to have a quarterback competition, but at the same time, this quarterback competition should not go into the fall.
And that's what I was kind of saying earlier. I mean, what does it tell you? Kidoba Guy says this in response to Cool and Luke. Hey, man, it's your fault for having spring ball optimism to start with. Come on.
Text fight.
It's kind of what I was saying earlier with VJ. If the odd thing happens where Nebraska starting quarterback is Logan Smothers or anybody other than Casey Thompson, we kind of have an idea of the talent that Casey Thompson brings to the field.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say Logan Smothers is the starting quarterback against Northwestern and Casey Thompson's healthy. He's not hurting. Anyway,
I'm fine with it. I'd be fine with Logan Smothers as a quarterback.
We know we have an idea of what Casey Thompson would look like. So that should give you optimism with the backup or with Logan Smothers and the other guys in that room.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel like Logan Smothers gives them a better chance to win than Casey Thompson, then shoot. Okay. Let's see Logan Smothers out there, baby.
I would be 100% okay with Logan Smothers being a starting quarterback on opening day, but bringing in Casey Thompson as a 1.5 year starter for a Power 5 Division I school as prestigious as Texas makes me believe that's going to be the guy that you now if it was like the third string quarterback out of Texas, quarterback battle going into the fall, totally fine, whatever. But you've got a guy who started a season, he was injured, he was in and out of the lineup. You brought in another transfer who was a backup at Florida State, another Power 5 school, but then you've got a guy who was a backup right here at Nebraska, vying for that starting or that backup job. So I kind of view Logan Smothers and Chubba Purdy in kind of the same light. I guess I have Logan a little bit higher. That might just be because he's been here. But Casey Thompson, I view as a step up from both of them. And that is because I've seen what he's able to do. I've seen him at his highest high, and I've seen him in some pretty bad games. And I know what he is able to do. I know what he gives you from an offensive standpoint, at least running the offense that Steve Sarkisian was running at Texas last season. I don't know how that translates over to Mark Whipple's offense, but when he was slanging it down at Texas, the man could chuck a football with accuracy and with power.
402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Let's transition to Husker baseball here for the last 15 or 5 minutes of this segment or so. Nebraska sweeps Ohio State on the road. They now move to 12-14 overall and 4-2 in the Big Ten Conference. Remember, this is a team who's in a position now that they will have to win the conference to make the postseason play, to make the NCAA tournament. A regional, they are going to have to win the conference, and not regular season, but the actual conference tournament. We had a lot of discussions the last couple weeks of when talking what's wrong with this team, what's kind of been their problem. And I kept telling Rico and all you guys that they're not doing the little things right. Like errors, they're booting the ball around the infield, and they just aren't putting any offense together. They're not being selfless at the plate. They're most of the time not even taking the bat off their shoulder, and they're just kind of giving up in that bat. Like things like that we didn't have to worry about with last season's team. Well, here's a perfect example. And one of my favorite sayings is you can weather the hits, but you can limit the walks and errors. If you limit the walks and errors, you can weather the hits, right? For example, Nebraska, 2 errors all weekend. They commit 2 errors all weekend, 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, none on Sunday. Okay. For example, Friday's game, 1 error, allowed 9 hits, won the game 5-3. Saturday,
I think they only had 3 earned runs.
Mm-hmm. Saturday, 1 error committed by Nebraska, allowed 7 hits. They won the game 10-5. Sunday, no errors committed, allowed 11 hits, and won the game 17-5, but even if you're not 17-5.
Without the grand slam in the 9th.
You're right. So once again, it shows that saying reigns true. You can weather the hits, but you can't weather the walks and errors and the mistakes that you make on your own and the mistakes that you're able to control. For example, if you walk guys on first and second with 1 out, or nobody out, then the Ohio State or your opponent can bunt the guy over, have a selfless at bat. You got runners at second and third with less than 2 outs. You need a sacrifice fly to generate a run if you're on offense there.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, where it's not the bunt and the pop fly that hurts you. It's the 2 walks that you gave up, or the 1 walk and things like that, where it's either being a wall behind home plate and allowing a free 90, or making errors in the field and throwing it past the first baseman. And once again, giving up the free 90 feet. It's those things, controlling the things that you can control. Baseball and softball is so much about controlling the things that you can control and allowing the other team to make mistakes, or allowing the other team to kind of get jumpy and get a little too eager to make such a big play happen. And that's when you mess up. That is when you commit errors. That's when you're trying to do too much. That's when everything can kind of go down the toilet in baseball or softball. Is if you're not pitching to contact, if you're not letting your defense work, if you're not being selfless at the plate offensively, then that's when you know what can kind of hit the fan. So but no, Nebraska, once again, 2 errors committed all weekend. They sweep Ohio State, and let's hope that this is a turning point.
They walked the Buckeyes a total of 8 times in 3 games and struck them out 21 times.
There you go.
That's what you got to do. Limit their on-base potential, and when you can, don't even allow the ball to get in play.
So let's figure this out.
They walked Ohio State the same amount of times Billy Andrews walked in the first 2 games against Rutgers.
So let's put that into perspective here. So if they walked Ohio State 8 times and they committed a total of 2 errors, that's 10 free bases essentially that they gave up. 10 free bases, 10 times that a guy, and that's if you're playing perfect, you're gonna finish a weekend, 0 in both those categories. But that's 10 free bases that you gave up, and you allowed a guy to get to first. and when he shouldn't have. Well, if you think about that, they played 27 innings. A total of 27 innings over the course of 3 games. So when you put that into the ratio, that's a pretty good weekend.
It's a solid weekend.
It's a solid weekend. Like, once
That
again,
may
control
be-
the things you control, do the little things right, and you're going to be on the winning side of a 5-3 ball game where you allowed more hits than you actually hit for, but you weathered the hits and you controlled the things that you can control. And Shea Shanneman had a good day on Friday. We
6 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run,
Yeah.
3 walks, 8 strikeouts. 106 pitches.
Yeah. Once again, we talked about starting pitching sometimes not being able to go deep enough into games. On Friday, like you said, Shea Shanneman 6 1/3. On Saturday, Cody Frank went 4 1/3. Tyler Martin went 3 2/3, and then Braxton Bragg came in and finished it up. And then in Sunday's game, you had Dawson McCarville go 4, Jackson Jellikin, the freshman from Bell West, go 2, Ornelas from Texas A&M went 2, and then Benson comes in and cleans it up in the final inning.
Honestly,
as well.
Nebraska could have put up a lot more than 17 runs on Sunday. They left 13 of all the games that they left people on base. They left 13 on base on Sunday. They left 9 on Friday and 6 on Saturday. 13 people left on base in a game in which you scored 17 runs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That is the most solid game offensively that Nebraska's put together this season.
Yeah, so let's hope this is a turning point for Nebraska baseball. They return home this weekend and play Rutgers. So if you're looking for something to do, weather's supposed to be decent, head on out to Hawks Field and watch some Nebraska baseball. They host Rutgers this weekend in a 3-game series, Friday and then Saturday at 3:15 following the spring game, and then Sunday, I believe, at noon as well. So, all right, when we come back, we'll touch on Husker softball and a couple of your final thoughts here on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break with Sip and Jake.
Why do I like blue bloods? Here's why. If you're successful over time, that's the true test. And in my lifetime, North Carolina basketball, Kansas basketball, Duke basketball in my lifetime has almost always been good. I mean, all 3 of them. I mean, it's reliable, and they should be good because they put so much energy into it.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your KFXL Fox Nebraska weather for Monday. We're expecting a high right around 62, along with mostly sunny skies. Clouds roll in late tonight with a low right around 39. We'll still see passing clouds throughout Tuesday with a 40% chance for rain showers and a high right around 63. I'm meteorologist Regina Bird for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready. Download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Have you ever wanted to build a catapult? Have you ever wanted to launch something other than water balloons with a water balloon launcher? Do you want to be a national champion? Then you need to get a team and sign up for the National Avocado Launching Championship, May 21st in North Platte. That's right, the National Avocado Launching Championship is taking place right here in Nebraska. Launch avocados for fame and glory. Sign up at avocadolaunching.com. That is avocadolaunching.com. And remember, the top prize is $5,000.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
Hey, ticket listeners, it's Cristiano Simonetta, the voice of the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and I for Outside the Box every Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. talking Stars hockey and more. Outside the Box every Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico, before we talk about Husker softball,
yes,
I have to tell you the highlight of my weekend.
Ooh.
Because I'm wearing them. So these pants I'm wearing, right?
Oh, I was like, the shoes? You
No,
had
not
those.
the shoes.
What's up with the pants?
$15.
Really?
At Dick's Sporting Goods.
Wow. I need to get
Shout out to the athletic joggers from Dick's Sporting Goods.
I need to get down to Dick's Sporting
DSG
Goods.
brand. I'm guessing it stands for Dick's Sporting Goods.
Probably.
Their brand is nice, very lightweight.
I do need to get me some
I'll
new
probably
joggers.
I'll probably be wearing these to the spring game on Saturday. Well, spring practice on Saturday. And yeah, so that was the highlight of my weekend, was buying these pants for $15.
Proud of you.
And I need to go back and get like 4 more pairs.
Were there a lot? Was it a sale or are they just
I don't
that
know
price?
if they were. I don't know if it was a sale. I don't think it was.
They're just that price?
I think they just might be that price.
Shoo, I might have to go down and give me 5.
They had black, gray, and like army green.
See, I would get
I
would go 2 black, 2 gray, and 1 army green.
See, I would just stick with. I would probably go 2 gray and 1 black. I don't need
get that. Give me that army green.
Maybe
Throw it in there, a little curveball.
Maybe. All right, let's talk Husker softball. Rico, you were able to make it out to Bowling on Saturday.
I made it out to Bowling for my first time ever. I know that is sad to say.
That is very sad.
But I made it out to Bowling for my first time ever. Great atmosphere, great ballpark, and a great performance by Husker softball. I witnessed the pitching duel of the weekend where they won 2-1 over Rutgers. Didn't get to. I think I saw Billy Andrews take the bat off her shoulder once, and she fouled it off. Other than that, none of the pitches were close to the zone. They walked her all 4 times and she was up the bat. Saw a couple hard hit balls, some great defense, some amazing pitching. But for the most part, it was a really nice day. The wind was a little strong early, died down, and I was just waiting for one to go over the fence. Like I was excited.
Well, speaking of balls going over the fence here on Friday, Abby Squire, 2 home runs. One of them was a walk-off home run.
Walk-off in the 6th.
In the 6th to run rule Rutgers. They run ruled Rutgers twice in 3 games. They beat them 9-0 on Sunday. And Maya Felder blasted a home run. So did Caitlin Kinney, who was the pitcher as well. She went 5 innings. She went the whole way for Nebraska and Rhonda Revelle. One hit shutout yesterday in Nebraska's 9-0 win against Rutgers.
Beautiful.
let's talk big picture here. They are now 25-9 and are winners of 10 in a row.
They are winners of 10 in a row. 3 of 4 have been run rules.
5-0 in the conference.
Yes.
And they travel to Michigan State now this next weekend. Then they come back on next Tuesday, April 12th. They have a doubleheader against Iowa.
Ooh.
4 and 6:30 p.m. are those games on Tuesday, April 12th. And I early predictions say that the weather is about to be 78 degrees that day.
Perfect for the ball to fly over the
It's
fence.
time to go to bowling.
Perfect.
This is why it'd be so great if Husker baseball can get it rolling as well, because there's nothing better than those days, like on a Saturday or even a Friday night, that you just walk from Haymarket or Hawks Field to Bowling or vice versa.
How often does that happen? Because I want to do that.
I haven't been able to look at their schedule and like match up. So I mean, we'd have to see it.
If you check softball, I'll check baseball.
Well,
we'll do this right now.
Live on the air.
We will do this right now.
See, what would be smart is for me to just have 2 tabs up on my laptop here.
Yeah, but then you'd have to go back and forth.
But
so you've got softball, I've got baseball, but keep going.
So, I mean, this softball team, though, is we talked to Nate Roy, the voice of Husker softball last week, and he had really good stuff to say. And we mentioned Billie Andrews had in the first 2 games of the weekend had 8 at-bats and 8 walks. With that, I mean, we asked Nate last Thursday, why do they decide to hit Billie Andrews at leadoff? And it's to force them to make a decision whether they want to leave him on, or have start the inning basically with a runner on first, or in a situation we saw on Friday, they intentionally walked her
to load the bases.
No, with the bases loaded.
Oh, on Friday.
On Friday.
On Saturday, they walked her
yes.
to load the bases.
Yes. On Friday, they walked her with the bases loaded so that she didn't score 2 runs or get 2 RBIs. Like, that's what happens when you have a weapon at the top of the lineup like that who is leading the country in home runs.
Would that be annoying as her? Like, you want to swing the bat, and teams are just like,
So when I made that tweet out earlier, she liked the tweet. I should have asked her to come on. That's what we should do. We should get Billie Andrews on the show. Either way, before Nathan does. No, but anyway, like, I feel like it would be pretty boring to just have to be on base and not be able to swing the bat.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's just kind of the reality of it. I mean, Nebraska softball is playing extremely well. Once again, winners of 10 in a row. They're 25-9 overall, 5-0 in the conference. 2 of their wins came on the road at Michigan, who's ranked 19th at the time. And then they just swept Rutgers in a 3-game series. And then in between those 2 series, a 15-0 win over Creighton.
Shellacking.
This team's fun to watch. They travel to Michigan State this weekend, and they return home for a 5-game set through 2 games on Tuesday, the 12th, against the Hawkeyes, and then
at home.
Yep,
the 12th.
The 12th.
What time?
4 and 6:30 p.m.
You can go to the 4, and then you can walk across and watch Nebraska take on Creighton.
There you go.
At 6:35.
There you go for Husker baseball. Then they host Minnesota the following weekend as well. So pay attention, folks.
Nebraska has BYU that weekend.
If they set up, if they get a good matchup in the postseason, something could happen.
Interesting.
All right, we're done for today. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Water cooler is next. Spring ball, it's almost here. Well, it's almost done. But we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to